9 News Plus weather, sponsored by Carrier Colorado. The future of home comfort is here.
Hey, thanks for joining us here on 9 News Plus. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi with a detailed look at your Colorado weather forecast. We're going to get into a lot of specifics, including the chance for a little bit of snow today, a bit more Friday night, and then I think next week looks pretty active. So if you're a snow lover, you're liking this cold weather, you're probably going to like this forecast. Now, this is the view from Lookout Mountain. A few flakes starting to fly. This is not too much yet, but over there up by North Table Mountain and off in the distance there, Highway 93, you can see some of that snow that is starting to fall there into the west side of the metro area. And I'm not expecting too much more snow here into the Denver area as we head through the rest of the afternoon, but maybe enough to lead to a bit of a slick commute. Now to the high country, that's where things certainly already slick. It is snowing up by the Loveland ski area, and we're seeing that snow come down pretty heavily at times into parts of the mountains, though that snow will gradually wean on off later on today. So forward to this afternoon, some afternoon snow showers, nothing too crazy, but I do think we could see maybe a dusting to perhaps an inch of snow between now and about 7 to 8 o'clock when that snow does finally come to a close. Then there's potential for some more snow on Friday night here across the metro area. Winter storm watch for the eastern part of Colorado. That's for tomorrow. For today, winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings for us across the western and southern part of our state. Now, snow since Monday in southwest Colorado. This is where we've seen the most snowfall over the last 48 hours. About a foot of snow for us in Aspen. These are the ski areas, 11 inches in Wolf Creek, and most of the San Juan's getting a good 7-8 inches plus worth of accumulation over the last 48 hours. Now, the snow's starting to fill back in. What we're seeing is a little bit of a Denver cyclone. I'll explain that for you here in just a second, but broad view, snow heaviest for us along and east of I-25, and a closer look in here at the metro area. What we're seeing right now is, if you know the Denver area off to our south, we've got a little bump in elevation known as the Palmer Divide. And when you get winds out of the south and out of the east, it forces those winds to curve over those mountains and kind of curve around it a little bit out through eastern Adams and Arapahoe counties. And that motion leads to a bit of a spin. And you can kind of just see that little spinny motion out here to that snowfall across the Front Range. That is the Denver cyclone. If you really want to get nerdy about it, it's the Denver Convergence Vorticity Zone. What that means is, again, it's almost kind of like a bit of a toilet bowl effect. There's a bit of a swirl, a natural swirl to the winds here into the Denver area. That's Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin who enjoyed that one. But yeah. Thanks, Kathy. But it really dictates a lot of our weather as well. But first here across the western slope, in Grand Junction, you had a couple inches of snow earlier on. That has now since moved its way east. So if you're driving on I-70 through Glenwood Canyon, that is going to be a slick spot. And same for us up by Vail Pass, which was closed for part of yesterday, thanks to some of that snowfall. Then a little further south into the wet mountains, as well as down through the Sangre de Cristos, we're seeing some of that snowfall out there. So Levada Pass, as well as Raton Pass, can be pretty difficult driving for us this afternoon and this evening. Now, the forecast, we head through the next few hours, that snow for us in the mountains will gradually kind of fizzle on out. It's going to be a slow process, but that snow will come to a close overnight tonight. One little exception, and you can see it here in southeastern Colorado, we're going to get a little narrow band of some heavier snowfall that's going to sit on up on the northwest side of an area of low pressure. This is going to spin its way through southeast Colorado. So along and south Highway 50, that's where you could get a couple of inches of accumulation and some pretty gusty winds. Most of that will be overnight tonight and tomorrow morning, but then by Friday morning, we're clearing on out for a brief period. But again, here, folks, this is going to be a pretty active period. So, any breaks that we get will be pretty short-lived. Closer look in here at the Front Range. Again, next couple of hours, we do have the chance for a little bit of snow. This will not be all that big of a deal. Temperatures right now just above freezing. That is good news. That means that any snow that falls will probably only stick on grassy surfaces, car tops, things of that sort. But we could get a coating to maybe an inch of snow in a few areas here along the metro area because of some of that light snowfall. And then by tomorrow morning, we'll be done with the snow. Any snow we get today should be done by about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. And tomorrow and Friday looking pretty calm for us here along the Front Range until Friday night. That's our next storm chance after this current storm setup. Close look in here at the expected snowfall amounts. Most of what you're seeing here into the mountains will be over the course of the next 12 hours or so. Then we're done with the snow in the high country. And then Denver, we had a couple rounds of snow. One, again, this afternoon. And then that secondary round of snow, which could be a hit or miss round of snow for us on Friday night and Saturday morning. Without getting too nerdy about it, the jet stream is involved, so what we're going to probably see are these kind of little narrow bands of some heavier snow set on up along the north of I-70. These can be pretty difficult to pinpoint, so what could end up happening on Friday night is that maybe some spots get little or no snowfall, and then other areas pick up maybe 3-4 inches worth of accumulation. It's one of those setups that could be a little dicey, so something to watch out for if you've got any plans on Friday night. Worth noting, if you're heading up to the mountains on Friday night, I-70 ski traffic, probably a good idea to get that done a little earlier with that snow moving its way on through the picture during the evening and nighttime hours. Temperatures, again, that 33 is pretty important for us in Denver. That means that any snow that falls, plus we're getting late enough in the season. It's now early March. Because of that, the sun angle is a bit higher, and that also helps to melt off any snowfall that might fall. So, point being, I think that any accumulation that we do get will probably be on grassy surfaces, car tops, colder surfaces, and things of that sort. So the roads should probably stay mostly wet across the metro area. That's good news. We don't like to see that snow sticking on the roads. For today, snow showers between about 3 and 8 o'clock or so. Again, accumulations will be light. Most areas under an inch, maybe 1 or 2 spots pick up an inch, maybe 2 in the southwest foothills. For tonight, any early snow showers done by about 8 o'clock. Temps drop down into the low 20s. And sunset 5:50, by the way, we are 10 days away from our first 7 p.m. sunset of the year. It's 5:50 now. Mark Salinger likes that because next week we get our first 6 p.m. and a couple days later we get daylight saving time that kicks in, and that means we'll be talking about 7 p.m. sunsets in the next 12 days. So it's March 12th that we get our first day. So a little over 10 days away. I was lying about that one. All right, tomorrow, 40 degrees for us here in Denver. Still a little bit below average for this time of the year, and it's mostly sunny. We could see a few patchy morning clouds, but those will break up pretty quickly. Highs tomorrow, 20s, 30s, high country, 40s and 30s for us on the eastern plains, especially southeastern Colorado. Colorado will be on the colder side. That is thanks to some of that cloud cover and some of those snow bands that will work its way through that part of the state. Then by Friday, we briefly spike those temperatures to near 50 degrees, but notice this here, folks. Friday night, we get that chance for more snow. Then Saturday, Sunday, we're going to kind of clear things out for a brief period. And then next week, more cold and more snow. And just looking at those long-term patterns here, folks, I think that this March is going to be a fairly busy, it's going to be a fairly cold and a fairly snowy month for us here along the Front Range and throughout the state. So just buckle on up. If you're tired of the cold and snow, take a flight because it's not going to get all that much better anytime soon. That's my guess at this point. Average winter temperature in Denver, we were at 28.4. It was our coldest winter since 2010 and our 15th coldest winter on record. And remember that meteorologists, we define seasons by full months as opposed to the astronomical seasons, winter solstice to vernal equinox, things of that sort, because those dates change. So the spring equinox takes place, I believe this year it's on March the 20th, some years it's March the 21st, some years it's March the 22nd, and because of that change, meteorologists define our seasons by full months as opposed to the astronomical season. So when we're talking about the coldest winter that we've had, we're talking about the full months of December, January, and February combined, which means that today, March the 1st, is the start of meteorological spring. So the more you know. But in the meantime, again, top line takeaways for today, a little bit of snow for us here along the Front Range. Not a big deal. A few flakes, maybe a dusting to an inch of snow for us. It should mostly be on colder surfaces, so I think those road impacts should be pretty limited. Then after that, another chance for some more light snowfall on Friday night. Bit of a tricky forecast Friday night, and then next week looking cold and snowy. So hopefully that answers your weather-related questions. If not, meteorologist Kathy Sabins right behind that TV screen. Standing on up, there is Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabins. She'll be in for the 4 and 5. Then meteorologist Danielle Grant is in at 6, 9, and 10 tonight on the 9 News family of networks. So we got our full team of meteorologists keeping you safe and informed. Once again, I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Plus. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and thanks for joining us once again.